What's your gut feeling? Obviously, nothing's going to be perfect. You know, we all want stuff in an ideal world. But do you think it's going to be, in the long run, more positive, the regulation they bring in?
I'm a pretty free market guy. So I don't know how much it would have to be pretty minimal for me to consider it positive on the whole. Basically, if it's a fraud, I think there should be punishment. But beyond that, it's somewhat buyer beware. That's my sort of philosophy or my stance on this. I think there's too much regulation. I think there's too much securities regulation. I understand it, I learn it, and then I think this is too much. I don't think the cost benefit has been calculated or weighed appropriately for this regulation. I think what will happen is that the US is going to try pretty hard to enforce a regulatory regime on DeFi operators, the ones that they can get a grip on maybe the 5-year horizon. But on that 5 to 10-year window, there's going to be a lot of countries who realize that DeFi is good for their country, that we're not going to follow the US precedent when it comes to financial market regulation. US regulation applies to companies that are interacting with US residents, US-based businesses and non-US based businesses, protocols that are interacting with US residents. And so there's like a whole other world. And in my mind, I'm thinking South America, Africa, and Asia, at least Southeast Asia and Central Asia, that will say, hey, we've got young internet connected people who are building small businesses in this infrastructure, raising capital, selling products and services, bringing in money to our country. We're taxing them. And what they're doing is not compatible with US regulatory laws because maybe they're selling tokens too early, they haven't done a public disclosure, things like that. But we don't care. It seems to be a good thing for us. And so we're just going to go with the flow. And so then I think we're going to see this far more competitive capital market take root in those economies. And then our established economies here in the West are going to have to decide, are we going to try and really reach out and regulate the entire thing on behalf of everybody? Or are we going to modify our regime to compete with these other places in the world? Hopefully the latter.
So to sum it up, you're a proponent of freedom.
I guess so. I'm a big freedom guy. Freedom takes funny forms sometimes, but yeah, big freedom guy, I guess.